Well, guess what, guys? Finally, after 1 year of looking, I found my dream lantern. There's only one problem, though, guys. It's broken. Crank that around and see what happens. Yeah, g'day guys, and welcome to another episode of the Silver Peaks Wanderer. And today is the Friday show and tell day. So I was trawling around the old internet there the other week, as you do, looking at what we have here is called Trade Me, which is similar to eBay overseas there. And I was trawling around on there, and lo and behold, there she was, the lantern of my dreams. So I was having a wee look at her, and apparently she has some issues. So we'll see if we can fix her up and get her going. Yeah, apparently the valve wheel is the valve was stuck, and the valve wheel, just having a wee look at it, is a bit stuffed as well. So we'll have a look, eh? Yes, I've been wanting one of these for quite a while. That you might find them overseas maybe a bit more often than here, but here in New Zealand, this is the first one I've seen. So here and here we've got the valve wheel here, which could possibly be a bit, the wee cog piece inside could be a wee bit chewed out, so I had to have a look at that. And the screw apparently was broken that she got. The lady I got it off got a couple other screws, but they're a different thread size, so we won't use them. I've actually found amongst my my stuff in the boneyard, you might say, some spare parts, so we can fix that with some spare parts. Let's get the lantern out and have a look, eh? Let's put that aside over there. Yeah, so there she is, guys. A Seafoam Green 236 from 1947, made in Canada. Yes, I believe they only made these for a couple of years. It's not also known as the Major, in this lovely seafoam green colour here. As you can see, I've got a couple other seafoam green colour lanterns here. I've got a 249 from the same year, made in Canada, and this 236 here, with a seafoam green lid on it as well. Yes, so I'm pretty stoked to have this. There's a few issues, as you can see. The top is a bit loose, and this valve wheel here, so we'll have a wee look at it, see if we can sort some of these issues out, eh? Just start by taking this nut off at the top. So there's actually a little nut underneath the normal lantern nut. Someone's got a little nut on there. So there's a wee bit of wear on the top here, but it's still okay. Some people might find that a bit too much, but I don't mind a wee bit of wear. It's had some life. So apparently this was just used once a year, every year, for camping trips, according to the lady I got it off. So hasn't had a heap of use, just the odd once a year camping trip. We'll take the bale out there. The hat off. Yeah, she's a wee bit rusty inside. Not a lot you could do about it. You could re-enamel it, but I'm not too sure over here if we could do it here. But over in the States, I believe there's someone that re-enamels them. But, we'll just leave that the way it is. It's okay. The globe looks like it's in reasonably good condition. Doesn't look too bad. Yeah, so we'll have a wee look at this. This is a wee bit loose here. Yes, looks like that's an issue as well. The screw where the wing nut is, there is the whole thing is coming out. Normally you'd have the top piece come off and the bolt, the shaft stay, and it's definitely a bit of an issue. There's another nut under there as well. Not too sure if we can get that to loosen up there or not. Could be seized on the wing nut onto the bolt piece. Have a look. I do have a bit of leather here to protect the bits and pieces you're working on. Always good to have a bit of leather. Protect things. So I just stick that thread side in there. See if we can loosen that guy up. Not damaging the thread. It may not go. If it doesn't go, I'm not too particularly worried. Yeah, I think it's pretty well seized in there. I do have some CRC here. We'll squirt a bit of that on there and leave it to soak for a wee bit. It might loosen up. Try not to get it in the old water there. Leave that to loosen up there. Just sit in there. While we're here, we might as well have a look at this generator, eh? Yeah, so there is a bit of a funny thing going on. I noticed with the generator, it turns one way but not the other, so suggests to me that there's a bit of a problem there. It wasn't even tight, that really. So, have a look at that. Oh gee, that wasn't even on its on the block here. So this here has I think they call it an escutcheon block, and on there's a wee piece of metal that goes up and down with a hole in it. And on this generator here, there's the cleaning needle which is inside here. I'll just see if I can pull that guy out just carefully. So that's still got its tiny little, on the end of it is a tiny little needle cleaning. I think it's a cleaning tip. It goes through the there's a wee jet here at the top of the generator, and this needle goes up and down when you turn this lever here. Keeps this little jet or orifice, you might call it, clean. So that wasn't attached to the block, so that there's a wee hole there, and there's a wee bend in the wire here to fit into the hole to make it go up and down. So that's possibly one problem there. So we'll just quite carefully put that back in there. Be careful not to damage the needle. There we go. So we can fix that up. We'll attach that back onto this guy. Carefully. And right there is the hole. There we go. It's always pays to make sure, oops, she's just come off again. Yes, it pays to make sure you've got it attached properly before you put the nut back down on it. So there we go, we've got that in there. Just turn that round. There we go. Actually got a feeling it might have just come off again. We'll just have a look at that in a minute. You should be able to tell when you turn it. Yeah, I think it's come back off again. We'll have a look at that. It's obviously a bit of an issue. Oh no, it's still on. Still attached to that, that's alright. Make sure that's going up and down properly. Should be able to tell, should be able to feel it. Wonder why that's feels like it's. Yeah, just have a look at that again. Seems like it doesn't want to turn the other way. It turns one way but not the other way properly. It's very strange. This is a beautiful day here today at Purukadeli. This is Butterfish Point. I think I said in the last video. Well, it's definitely in there. It's odd, isn't it? So it wants to go one way but not the other. Definitely still attached anyway. It wasn't, certainly wasn't on there before. Normally these needles you can spin right round either way, but that one wants to just goes right round that way, okay. It's also got a wee bend in this generator, but I won't try and straighten that out right now. Just tighten that up. That's okay now. Still only turns one way, but never mind. So we'll set off that screw again. I think it's pretty well seized on there, so we'll just use that the way it is. Put that nut back on. There's a nut on the other side there. Put that on there. On there. There she goes. Just trying to find the thread hole there. See if we can tighten it up better than the last guy. It's obviously a bit of an issue too. Now if we got it in the hole there, right. Seems to be tightening up. tighten it up. I think it is. Let's make sure our collar's on a reasonably centred there. That's one issue sorted anyway. She's a lot nicer on there now. Tight. So the other issue we have is this shaft here is jammed. So we'll have a look at that. Got a bit of heat here from a wee blowtorch, so I might just heat that up for a start. Sometimes there's a graphite in here, sometimes that can kind of get seized on there. Bit of heat might help. The other thing we might do is, just before we start here, is loosen this nut off a little bit. Might be a bit tight. Oh yeah, that's tight. Loosen that off just a wee bit. Help that out, get a bit more heat on there. Yes, the lady I got this off was worried this was chewed up at the end. I think it's more the spindle, the knob that goes on top than the shaft. The chewing up going on the shaft there, but you're right. Just a bit of lever there. Let's see if we can get that to move. Oh yeah, it's quite stiff. It's moving, mate. Just work that a little bit. Sort of loosening up a bit there. Probably give that a go there, I think. Just, yes, not too sure about this knob here. Yeah, I think it's damaged inside it. Like I was saying, I do actually have another knob and another little screw in here from my boneyard, which is handy to have. And here, so here we go. So we'll just flag that screw. It's that knob rubber. It's not much good, I think. So this one here is also it's actually got a better wee plate on the front of it. You can read the writing on it. It's made in Canada, the same as the other one. It's pretty much exactly the same part there. So we'll stick that one on there, and put the wee screw in here. That moves the little screw. It's quite nice here today under the water here. There's a few just little fish at the moment I can see swimming around. So we'll just pop that back on there. Just carefully try and get that screw started there. Yeah, there we go. Going on there. It actually feels like it's gripped into the cog there properly too, that handle, whereas the other one definitely didn't. Just tighten that up. Feels nice and firm. feels like that's not turning properly there. So you can get that back on there. Try and loosen that up a bit more. Just tighten that wee screw up on that valve wheel as well. Tighten that up a bit more. Okay, that's better. It seems to, when it's stuck on the off position, it seems to, the shaft is a bit damaged there. We'll just have to use it gingerly, they say. I think that's screwing a bit tighter. Just use this lever and multi grips here again and just try and loosen that off a bit more. So done it. It's a bit of a problem that. I think may end up eventually at replacing the whole unit there. This doesn't want to loosen up as well as it should. I think I'll tell you that definitely is a problem. We'll just try once more to loosen this up. It's been a bit of an awkward customer, this. Oh, gee. Try and make this work. It just doesn't want to. That should be dry enough in there to. Turning that shaft. I'll just loosen that nut back up a bit more. It's quite loose. Certainly problematic, this. Like to hear what other people would do in the situation where the shaft is actually totally worn out. It's not actually the knob, I believe it's the shaft. I'll just try and loosen it up some more. It's try and maybe put that on there. Sometimes it's a matter of trial and error on these things to try and work out what the best solution is. So I'll grip that on there. And we'll tighten that screw that way. It's definitely an issue. Actually wonder if the screw that came with this lantern was broken in half. I actually wonder if it got damaged in the there we go, that's working there. Just be careful with that. It's definitely working there. Just tighten that wee screw up there, do any leakages there. That nut rubber, just tighten that up. I'll just pop a fresh bit of fuel on there. Some fuel there. Funnel. That in there. Back in there. So the other day when we were on holiday there, we popped into Lawrence and there was a wee second-handy shop there in Lawrence, and the guy, I had a good conversation with him. I filmed a wee bit in there, but not really properly. I had the camera on, but I didn't realise I had it on. So, but never mind. He was a really nice chap, and he gave me a whole bunch of these 111 Silk-Lite mantles. So we're going to put one of these on here, and we'll get her up and going this lantern, eh? So for those that don't know, the older mantles were called Silk-Lites, and they're made out of a different material than the new ones, and apparently they're a lot better. They burn better, last longer, and they're brighter. So a lot of the lantern collectors are always looking out for the old Silk-Lites. So quite privileged to have one for this lantern. Quite nice. So I always try and tie a little knot on the string before I put it on. So normally put a double knot on, so put a single one on for a start, and then tie the second one once she's on. Just try and tighten it up around my finger there. So we'll put that on there. Pull that tight around there, that string. There we go. Around there. Double knot on there. Stick that the right way. And just burn that in there. Yes, I think the thing with these older mantles were they're apparently radioactive or something like that, so that's why they don't have the same type of mantle nowadays. Just burn those little strings off there. Try not to touch the mantle. Oh well, we'll give this a pump up, eh? I've got fuel. I better put the fuel cap back on. I think that's pretty good. The seal feels pretty good on that. Just Tighten that up. Give that a few pumps and see how we go, eh? Feels like a wee bit of leakage around the fuel cap there. Perhaps I might just tighten that screw up a bit there, if that helps us. May need to put a new seal on there. Alright, so we've got the generator to work. We've fixed the valve. So we'll just see how we go there. We'll turn the valve. Oh, she's leaking still out of here. We'll just tighten that up. Generator nut. Still coming out of there. Don't want that. Got tighten. I think she's going to go. Can't hear any fuel getting through there yet. It'll be locked up. Well, there's the sputter. It's going to go. Open that valve wheel some more. Must be still burning that mantle. Going on there, we're flaming up, but we've got too sure what's going on there. Oh, there we go, now she's coming away. Give her a few more pumps out. Nice, there she goes. I mean, I haven't mucked around with any of the, it could possibly need to take the whole valve out. I mean, I might have to look at replacing that anyway, because it's quite dodgy, that little, it's working at the moment, but certainly very worn on the shaft. Yeah, so there you go, guys, there she is. The old lid's smoking away there, must have a bit of dust and stuff on it, but 1947 Canadian Coleman in seafoam green. Yeah, major. Hello guys, have a good one. We'll see you next time. Yeah, she's still smoking away there. Yeah, burning off the old dust. See you later.